everyone, before we start the episode off, if you wanted to check out our audio-only episodes, you can go to Spotify and iTunes or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Also, if you go to iTunes, if you could leave us a 5-star review, that would be dope, and it really does help out. And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/volume1pod.
I think a good rule of thumb is if you got to get in a cocoon to transform, then it's, probably.
Probably bad.
Probably bad.
Like,
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. But in today's episode, we are starting on our Berserk Conviction Arc journey. My name is Josh Misty Michaels, and today, as always, I am joined by...
Megan, Elf Perrine.
Cody the Tsundere Knight, Skull Knight Decker.
Oh, you're going with that?
Yeah.
All right.
You went with Misty?
Yeah. It was more of a, it just rolled off the tongue a little bit better, I feel like. Yeah.
Because you have Misty, Michaels, the M's.
Yeah. It was an alliteration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of Volume 1. Like I mentioned but moments ago, today we are starting our Conviction Arc journey. We are going to be covering volumes 14 and 15, chapters 110 through 125 in our part 1 video. We are going to have a part 2 and a part 3 video. Part 2 is going to be the following 3 volumes, and then the final part will be the last 2 volumes. We are going to be kind of just gearing up in this first episode, and that second one is going to be full of information. But I just want to know how you guys feel coming back to Berserk after our little break from it.
Oh god, it's better than ever. I missed it so much. I was just like the first couple of panels, I'm like, yes, I'm back into it. We're back into Berserk.
Yeah.
The Berserk-sized hole in my heart had been filled, and I'm very excited to keep reading.
I bet you love that, huh?
Oh, I love that shit, dude.
Yes, I like that. I can really feel the story like amping up more, and I'm looking more forward to like each chapter as it goes on.
It's just really, I think, fun to see Guts where he's at now, and now we know where he's been. So everything has a lot more context. I like in these couple volumes, we really get to see his struggle as a struggler.
Which is, I also like now that I get why people were commenting that.
Yeah. Because it was something that we saw in the Black Swordsman arc at the very beginning of the series, but I feel like it holds more weight now, and it seems more intense now. Like he goes through it every single day and night. He is constantly just at war with the demon realm or the angels.
Yeah, at this point he's like, okay, don't see me at this time.
Yeah.
He's like Fiona, in Shrek. A lot of parallels to Shrek and Berserk. I think we've talked about this before.
I would love to disagree with you.
I'm going to have to.
But that's a really good point.
Shrek is Guts.
No.
We have Puck as Donkey, going on a quest. He's
I'm a
struggling.
little back on board now.
Fiona is him at the same time. You can't.
Okay, he
turns
be
into
everybody.
He can, though.
No, Shrek is the Skull Knight.
Okay, let's just say it's not Shrek. How about that? Let's
fine.
say that.
If you want to do that, fine.
But what it is more of a fairy tale. And that's a little bit like Shrek.
So you're going to... Okay.
What about an elf tale?
It is an elf tale. This is an interesting sort of dark fairy tale arc. It's starting to feel like a little bit of like, some maybe Peter Pan in there a little bit with Neverland being the Misty Valley. Maybe even a little bit of Pinocchio, if you really think about it.
Yeah, and I was going through like old Japanese fairy tales, and this like there's like a recurring theme throughout all of them is basically just like you should have listened to your parents. Like every single story is just that.
Yeah,
and then, a common one is like parents tell you not to go out, and then you go out and you like turn into like a turtle or something.
A lot of fairy tales are grim. Grim endings, not the cutest things. Like half of the Disney shit it's very dark.
But that's so funny that you were saying that all these fairy tales involve listening to your parents, because the parents in this specific girl's life are maybe going to get an award for the worst parents of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally the shit.
Yeah.
The shittiest people ever.
Yeah, that's funny how different that is, because you said the shit, which would mean that they were great.
No, they are
They're
the
literally
shit.
the shit.
No, I didn't mean that.
But yeah, I guess we'll jump into it. I mean, where we left off was at the end of the Golden Age arc, which is the end of everything. It's really where
It ended me, honestly.
And I guess if you're, it was nice having a little break, but I guess if you're reading this all the way through and you're without breaks, then this is sort of, at least the way it starts, there's a shift, and I feel like it is in tone, and it is nice. It's a nice little breather from the intensity and just the traumatic incidents that we just saw.
Totally.
Yeah, it felt like a breather episode where it was just like this like does work for like taking breaks and then finishing the next arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Megan, you were saying in a different thing that we were recording, it does start to feel like it's getting funnier.
Oh my god, it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like Puck and Guts' like interactions with each other are just so, it makes me laugh every time. And seeing Guts just like I was literally laughing out loud at how he's reacting to some of these people, and he's just like, okay, fuck these. And Puck's like, no, you don't mean that. And he's like, but I do. And he's like, I know you fucking don't. So what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Puck definitely played a smaller role in the Black Swordsman arc, and he is at the forefront of this. And he's funnier and more expressive. I don't know if it's because he's had time to get to know Guts, but their relationship and their dynamic now, it's so perfect. And just seeing how Guts sort of like he's never really warming up to him, but he is begrudgingly starting to accept Puck's help from time to time. When he uses Puck as like a salt shaker almost.
I love it. I love it.
There was a part where like someone gets injured and he's like pretty casually like, I'm like, I like that, like, normally like they don't just forget that, like, oh yeah, we have something that can heal people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to, I think, Cody's point of just like the detail you can zoom in and you can see, especially in the panels of the battlefields, all the soldiers and how they're each, specifically and differently drawn. That works for the comedy too. If you look in the background of the panels, you can see Puck always doing something very funny in the background, and you have to look for it. It's like a little Where's Waldo.
He's like a little
time.
chibi, and his face is all funny, and I really love how comedic it's becoming, and it just goes to show when things are serious, like it's such a good contrast. It is like a breather, like it's not as heavy as the Golden Age arc. It's so pleasant.
And Puck even acknowledges that in universe. Like, if I'm not here, this would be a very different story.
And I've definitely warmed more up to Puck.
I would love if that was the author who was just like frustrated with people not getting the purpose of Puck, and he's just like, if I wasn't here,
he's writing, and he's getting ahead of what the fans are gonna say.
I start when I saw how the Skull Knight talks to Guts. I started like, that's when I really started being like cozying up to this story. I like how he is just like, no, I helped you, but not because I wanted to. I do my own thing. We're not friends or anything, but
yeah,
we're both like struggling. We're like the same person.
I'll just give you like major keys to unlock along your journey, but like we're not homies. Don't call me up when you're struggling. Like that's your shit.
Yeah.
But like I might just show up and
I mean, if you need me, I'll be there or whatever. I mean,
I'm like a text away.
Yeah, this guy is easily my favorite character in this. I love the Skull, and I love how like that's what I was calling him because I don't really remember characters' names, but that's his actual name. I
mean, it seems like if he had any other name, it wouldn't fit as well as just Skull Knight.
It is like what else? What else would you call
JoJo?
Why JoJo?
I don't know. It's fun.
I mean, I feel like there's already a very popular series.
Yeah, that'd be
JoJo.
bizarre if that was his name.
That was really good, dude.
All right, cool. And I can sort of just coast off that for the rest of this.
Yeah. Speaking of new characters, though, it's at the beginning of Volume 14, or actually because of where the Golden Age arc ends in the first couple chapters of Volume 14, that we meet our new sort of band of knights, the Holy Iron Chain Knights. And they're coming up to the Red Lake, which I believe is ground zero for the birth of Femta, or the birth of Griffith the Dark Hawk. And they see this sea of blood and corpses, and it's the fulfillment.
Corcuses.
He might have been in there.
He probably
in the mix.
was.
I hope he was.
I don't know if he got eaten fully, but
now that we don't have Corcus to really like shit on, it kind of hurts me a little bit.
Yeah, because now it's just people that I'm like pretty cool with.
Yeah, I like everyone, so I'm like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the new Corcus.
Yeah,
but I don't think anybody that those are big shoes to fill.
Definitely big shoes to fill.
Those are big
heart to
clown shoes to fill.
Yeah,
yeah. And it's these three characters that I think are going to become obviously way bigger as the story goes on. but it's Commander Azan, Serpico, and Farnese. I hope I'm saying those names right.
Farnese.
Yeah. It starts with an A, but
Fairness?
I've been wrong about pronouncing names before. And they are on a mission of miracle recognition, is what they call it. So I assume that in the period of time, because after they come upon this lake, there is a 2-year time skip. And I'm assuming that since obviously Griffith ushered in the Age of Darkness, that there is just chaos everywhere. Villages are being pillaged and, monsters are appearing. But what I love about that is that later, something that the Chain Knights say, how they kind of verify these rumors to be true, it was like a very nice touch. And I can't wait for Guts to come across them and meet them. But anyway, after that, Megan, why do you look like that?
Oh, what?
Megan's just making faces.
No,
I don't know.
I'm not making faces.
But we also
Yes,
meet.
Yeah, could you not smile?
Okay.
Megan, yeah, please, a little less smiling. We're talking about Berserk here, okay? Things are about to get dark. We meet Jill, who is going to become a very big character in this arc. And she is, at this time, we don't know, but bless her heart, because she's been through it.
She's at this point she's kidnapped.
Yeah.
The whole mouthpiece, tied behind her, hands type shit.
Yeah.
And it opens up on these bandits or whatever the fuck, and they're just chilling and talking shit. And then one of the creepiest characters I've ever fucking seen in my life, they're like, "Oh, he likes her," and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. This goes back
That's
to
a
everybody
funny
just
way
being
to
gross.
Yeah, an interesting way of describing a bunch of bandits threatening to do stuff to a little girl, which was talking shit.
Well, they were
Talking shit was the least harmful thing.
Honestly,
they
they were just like, he took it to the next level. They just kidnapped her, and then he was just like, "Oh, I guess that's him." Yeah. Classic Joe. Classic. He does this shit all the time.
I mean, maybe that's his closer. Maybe that's his. That's the only thing he has.
That's the only thing he has. It's the worst thing you could have ever. But that's the only thing.
It's the worst thing you could have. Like, expand your bag of tricks, friend.
No, no.
Maybe get that one out of there.
Yeah, get it way removed, far removed it. Pull it out and throw it in the trash.
100%. But yeah, and then one of the guys, the leader, I assume, or one of the people in this group of bandits, is starting to talk about this legend of this tree that they're at, and how it was a place that this cult used to sacrifice people by
tying their intestines and forcing them to walk in a circle around the tree.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been, was it exclusively women that they did that to?
I don't think so.
Oh, they showed a woman, and it was very, gross.
Yeah. And I've heard of things like this happening in the real world, too.
That's the worst part, when I'm like, oh, that's not even made up.
I know,
no,
right?
Literally half of the torture shit that happens in the story, I'm like, oh yeah, no, they used to do that to people.
For sure.
And call them like witches and stuff.
Yeah. Like you're the bad guy, actually. Yeah, I love that they would, we're gonna burn them alive because they're evil.
And if they don't burn, then they're a witch, and then we know.
If you die from walking without your intestines, then we'll know we were wrong.
And we're sorry.
And and our bad.
It was an honest mistake.
We're going to tie rocks to your legs and throw you in a river. And if you survive, we know you're a witch. But if you don't, then we were on
you'd think
on
they'd
the
try
other
to
side
do something that would kill a witch and a human would survive.
But there's
no.
It's one and the same.
Yeah, that's why having monsters with like weaknesses where it's like, oh, if you're a vampire, we'll just throw garlic in your face, and if you die, you're either allergic to garlic or you're a vampire.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad.
And also silver bullets, like you're just shooting someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think me and Cody were talking about this recently. I mean, like, bullets also kill humans.
Yeah,
that's
so
you didn't gain a weakness. You lost a weakness to every metal besides silver.
Yeah. And that's this whole thing about people want to make becoming a vampire such a horrible thing, but it's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, there's only a couple things that could actually get you, and if you just stay away from those, you're Gucci.
Yeah.
Okay. There, just real quick, there was a book about like this like werewolf hunters, and like they would like find werewolves before they turn and shoot them with like silver bullets. And they mentioned that like the person doing that isn't even like sure their actual werewolves exist, because again, it is a bullet that they shoot in their face. So
no one can come back.
They just think it's some weird cult thing that they're doing, and they don't believe werewolves even exist.
I mean, you and your werewolves, man.
I love werewolves, but
But yeah, they're talking about it. It's a little spooky ghost story while they're kidnapping a young girl, you know, classic bandit shit. And then we cut to my man.
Yeah, because
sleeping
Puck
kind
starts
of.
throwing these little fur balls or these prickly sort of balls at them, like mid-essay, we're going to say, and sexual assault.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought like you like mid speech about what they were talking about.
Oh, yeah, I could see how that could be misinterpreted.
No.
And then that's when the lightning flashes and he's just revealed in the most.
That was a
badass way.
very good dramatic shot.
And I missed him. Like, I missed seeing him. I was like, oh my God, there he is. And he's just like, can a guy get some sleep around here?
What I really love about him, and again, because of context, is that he's not a traditional, he is sort of an anti-hero in a lot of ways because he was just sitting there letting all that stuff happen.
Was he not asleep?
He was trying to sleep, I think. Because again, what I like about this arc is we get to see how hard it is for him to sleep at all. For him, like, how does he sleep? When does he sleep? He has no time. His neck's always bleeding.
He doesn't sleep a wink.
I liked it.
Okay.
He has one
He
eye.
has the one eye.
Oh.
Yeah. It really needed the act out to work. Yeah. It worked. It worked. I liked it. And yeah, he comes not to the rescue for the sake of rescue, but he does approach them, stop them, and he says, you guys are going to want to get out of here. Trust me. Take it from a guy like me. You guys are not going to want to stick around for very long. And that's when, the tree turns into basically the Whomping Willow, full of faces.
Is that from something?
It's from Harry Potter.
Okay.
Harry Potter, yeah.
Which I think J.K. Rowling definitely stole that from.
You can see a lot of
Kentaro
Berserk
Miura.
influence from Harry Potter and the Phoenix guys. Harry Potter and the Phoenix Boys.
I love.
I like that.
I actually like it better than some of the actual
They wear
titles.
leather jackets, like Harry Potter and the Phoenix Boys, and like walking around greasing
That's
their hair
sick.
out. Yeah.
That's super sick. And and so the tree comes to life. You can see, I love, again, this is just Miura's art, the faces and how they're contorting in the bark and the bumps of the trees. It's haunting. It's terrifying. It starts coming after Guts. And Guts, he has no, I mean, you know what? He killed 1,000 men. You think a tree is going to give this guy problems?
Yeah, no. He killed 1,000 men and then maybe
Was it
50
1,000 or
monsters.
100? I don't know.
I don't know.
But it was a lot of.
He's killed a lot in his day, and he's killed a lot of big monsters. He went up against fucking Dog Man Face, so this is a breeze in the park for him. This is every night.
Yeah, I could never
clocking in.
get on board for a tree being a threat.
Yeah, man. I mean, if only, those, environmentalists knew, what those trees were doing.
Yes, those brave lumberjacks out there.
They all have huge axes, too.
Yeah, and it's like, if you're lucky we get our jobs done before the eclipse.
Yeah. That would be a nice little twist on our life, huh? Make it a little extra.
If
special.
trees would kill,
Yeah. It'd be fitting.
Yeah. I think M. Night, and The Happening when I think of killer trees. But anyway, so he takes them out. They run away. And he saves Jill and kind of escorts her back to her village, which is kind of abandoned.
Jill is like a fan. Is that like a reference?
Maybe.
Jack and Jill
Yeah.
went up the hill.
Because Jack is like the go-to name for boys in fantasy. Is Jill the go-to name for girls in fantasy?
I don't know, but now it does feel like you were saying grim fairy tale. It does, now that you say that, make me think it was purposeful. But he escorts her back to her village that is, it looks abandoned, but it's because everybody is in hiding. They're afraid, they're terrified because their village has been the victim of many elf attacks.
Yeah, I love how Guts points that out. He's like, this place looks like shit.
He's like,
you live here? He points it out like 3 times.
And that's coming from a guy that was sleeping under a tree.
Yeah, he was he was sleeping in the wilderness being, this town sucks.
You guys, this is gross.
It's the San Bernardino of the Berserk world.
It really is.
Yeah.
And he is immediately confronted by villagers for one being an outsider, but more importantly because he's followed by Puck.
And I loved that moment too when he thought that everyone was like scared of him because his big ass sword, this crazy guy, and they're like, "No, it's the elf that you're with." He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, the way Puck flips on a dime.
Yeah.
Miura is very good at writing comedy. For someone who has sort of a dark storytelling, sort of usually tells a dark story. The comedy works, and it never feels. Yeah,
I think it hits more because you've just seen what this fucking man and this little elf has gone through, and then now that they're kind of just doing like day-to-day shit that they always, it just hits so much harder.
Yeah.
Because you're not expecting that comedy aspect, and then there it is, and you're like, fuck, dude, this guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been, easy for the elf, for Puck to be like out of like the context of the story, because he does like clash with everything, but like it still works with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like the one ray of like sunshine in this world, but like he doesn't feel out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it would have. I don't know if. I could see how Puck might have been a little more annoying if I didn't have that break from Puck, and I didn't get more Guts backstory. So coming back to him, it is refreshing. But maybe had Puck been there throughout the entire Golden Arc, I might have been a little more annoyed by him.
Yeah.
And I hope, obviously their relationship is gonna grow and change as well as it does many times, even throughout these couple volumes. But Puck is confused. Puck starts to kind of give a little bit of like rules as to what elves normally do.
We steal animals sometimes, but that's not.
But that's cute.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like,
Which
we're
is,
cute.
like, that would destroy a family if you took their livestock.
Yeah,
he's like,
we're cute beings. We mind our own business. We don't even like seeing humans, so I don't get the point.
yeah. It's so funny too because his excuse is that like almost like we deserve it. Come on. And they're very confused. They don't know why everybody is being so aggressive and so just like rude towards them.
Rude, standoffish, and then we meet Jill's famous parent combo. Yeah,
the abuser and the victim.
Yeah.
and the mother just like, I'm just gonna sweep the floors.
Which is also bad. Like,
Yeah.
I get that you're being abused and you can't get out of the situation that you're in, but like at least
I also feel
help
like
your
she could have
child.
taken him in a fight. She
Yeah,
could have
this
taken
guy.
the husband in a
yeah, literally you just have to fucking
This guy is a real like. I mean, first of all, I could take him in a fight, and I can't take many people in fights.
You just have to push him over and
Yeah.
I mean, he's blackout drunk half the time.
half the time.
All you
and
got to do is like steal his bottle from him, and I'm sure he'll
cry.
cry like a baby.
Yeah.
But
I was impressed with the subdued horror in that family dynamic, because they don't really flat out state what's happening, but they do. It is like clear what's happening in that family, but it's always like not shown.
Yeah, they did. There were a couple panels later that sort of pushed it over the edge and went more towards flat out saying it. But in the beginning, even that was not like blunt.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, that was like, all right, this is definitely happening, but they don't then show it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but for this first part, you're right. It is very just like, you assume, and you rightfully assume. But he's a horrible guy, and he just like is hanging out with his buddies, getting fucked up all the time, talking about a war that he was barely in, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
and
dude.
that they lost apparently, and he's just a gross guy. He's gross. Like, he looks gross too. And yeah, he beats the shit out of Jill. He beats the shit out of his wife.
And his friends they're like, sorry, Jill, about yesterday. I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
But yeah, that was that little touch that like from it's a horrible thing, but from a storytelling point of view, just like left up to your imagination, that little line, you're like, what the fuck? What did you do
Jill's
last night?
face, like you just know, like she just tenses up, and Guts is like, okay, and Guts don't take that shit.
No,
he don't take that shit. Especially, I mean, he did kill a kid once on accident.
Yeah, and he almost kills a kid again, but
once he got a thirst for it,
yeah.
I mean, you can't blame him.
No, but he's a survivor of abuse, and I'm sure that hits home with him. So he's like, fuck these guys.
Yeah, but I mean, he also, it would hit home for him. But he also, I think, he has his sort of like priorities, and his priorities are.
Yeah, he does not really go to stop it.
Yeah.
No, but
yeah,
it would have been interesting if he had like a stronger reaction to that.
Because I think
I mean, he is a little busy with his own stuff.
He's very
busy.
But I think even with his past, he is still of the mind that, and he does help people when it gets to a certain point, but he never goes out of his way to do it. At least in these couple volumes. And he does it sort of begrudgingly. And also I think it's because, and I could be wrong about this, and I'm sure he continues to grow too, but at this point I still feel as if he feels like, if you're letting people do that to you, then you're weak. After that, Guts leaves, and he
goes to lives in like a shack.
Yeah, well, he just leaves at first, and I think Jill tells him, like, you can stay in this windmill shack if you want. And he's like, sure. But what I like is that she says, like, I'm going to come. Don't worry. I'll come. I'll bring you some food. I'll bring you some cheese. I'll bring you some bread. And he's like, whatever you do.
Jill, now hear me out.
Yeah, hear me out, Jill. I'm hungry, but at the same time.
Don't come near me before the break of dawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how there's like, it's like, oh, yeah, he's not very open with people, but he tries so hard to get people to understand the rules, to not die. And every time they just don't listen to him.
Yeah.
Which I get how in the prologue he is just like, I'm not even bothering.
For being such an off-putting, quote-unquote, person, like, people love Guts, dude.
Yeah, dude. People are drawn to this man.
Yeah. Which maybe is part of his curse.
Maybe
we should to get more beings.
We should get branded.
Yeah, I'm already kind of ahead of you. I'm looking into it. I'm looking into it.
Oh.
Yeah, and so she does kind of wait a little bit, but she ends up coming too early, and she sees.
And was that because that was the time she like escaped from her dad?
Well, I think she did wait until dawn, but I think there just were some like lingering spirits or demons or whatever.
Oh, and then we see classic Guts with his little sword. Well, not little, but it's big. And he's just like sleeping, and she's like, and Puck's like, he just went to sleep.
Yeah,
and he's such a homie.
Yeah, like give him a couple minutes. Like he just passed out.
Just went to sleep. He's probably gonna sleep for 3 more minutes. Just let my boy sleep.
That's what I mean. Like, when does he sleep? Because he seems to be now every night, and sometimes even into the morning, constantly. And then even later with the elves, like all that stuff happens during the day. So like, when does my boy get some sleep?
I would imagine the system would become you could go to sleep during the day.
But he had to deal with the elf stuff during the day, So you mean like when he after that village, like on a normal day, he can
like,
sleep.
He's living his life on the graveyard shift. Yeah.
Literally,
hey, because of the ghosts and stuff.
Wow, that was better than I think you thought it was when you said it.
I didn't intend it to work at all. And it did, and that's sort of the
mind of Cody,
the convergence of causality.
Okay, but then there's that other sweet panel of Guts waking up because there's a little demon kind of creeping down the wall, and he smacks it or punches it.
Backhands.
They're just like bugs now to him.
Yeah, and he's kind of startled because he sees Jill just like asleep on his lap, and
yeah, fucking me.
Oh wow! But see, when you say it, there's like a sexual energy behind it.
No, but like it's like wholesome too. But
yeah,
wholesome butt is all you need.
Wholesome.
To know. Yeah, wholesome. It's wholesome with you and wholesome with Jill.
Yes.
And she wakes up and everything, and Puck kind of, they explains to them that. Tell us more about these elves. Tell us more about what's been going on. She reveals to them that they kill not only cattle, but that they're also killing humans. And Puck is very confused because
we don't do that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't. What area do you live in?
Yeah.
It's San Bernardino.
Yeah,
I
these
guess.
must be some windmill elves because us elves don't do that. Puck's just like a racist. I don't know against the other elves.
Yes.
But yeah, and so anyway,
that's a very fun concept for like a fantasy creature. Be like, yeah, but the water elves,
the valley elves,
don't mess with them.
That's the bad part of the valley, the misty part.
Oh,
and so basically, there's a swarm that end up coming to the windmill that they're all at, and they start to fight Guts, and we see Guts run into town basically to kind of confront them because they're going after everybody in the town. They're eating and the way that they eat through they start with the cattle and then they eat through the some of the adults and parents like with ease. They look like these balls of light, and as they pass through you, just chunks of your body are gone. Guts obviously is running there as fast as he can, and a little boy whose parents got eaten is outside, and his plan in this moment is to use the kid as bait. But I love his speech to him. He's like, you want revenge, or you just want to sit there and keep crying,
He goes, you want revenge for your daddy and mommy? The kid's like,
Yeah.
And he just like kind of chokes out the kid as he's like
Yeah.
running around with him. It's so funny.
The attention to detail in the art too of the kid. Like there's a part where Guts literally like has him on his sword and they're running through town like chasing. He's using it as an antenna to chase these elves. And the little moments where you can see in the panels the kid's collar like choking him with like saliva coming out.
He's just choking out a kid.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And he lures them to the barn and has this brilliant idea. He's going to lure them in there, and then once their backs against the wall, he's going to use that arm cannon, which I got to say, he starts using a lot.
Yeah. Which I really like how he doesn't. It's never a thing like, why doesn't he use the arm? He uses it every time he has an opportunity to.
Yeah. And the arrows a lot too.
Yeah. No one dwells on it in that world, but it's such a powerful weapon he uses constantly.
Yeah.
People are always like, your sword's huge. Like, he has a rocket launcher.
You'd think, yeah. No wonder he's already one of the strongest people ever. On top of just being decked out with all these like weapons. Not that wasn't a Decker thing.
No, it's a term.
It's just a term.
Right.
Not everything is about you, Cody. It's about Guts and he being backed against that wall and firing off at these elves, setting the entire barn on fire along with them. Him and the kid get kind of like propelled backwards out of the barn, and I love that. Every time he uses that, the force from the arm is so strong. No matter how or when or where he uses it, it always just throws him feet back.
Yes,
how you say that?
Yeah, it works.
All right. And
yards back for no, not yards. What's the
kilometers?
Kilometers back. Is that a short? What's the feet? Yards? It is yards.
Yards, kilometers, centimeters. We'll just cover all our bases.
Yes. Meters.
Inches.
Meters, yeah,
Meters,
miles.
Yeah. Oh, no,
yeah.
Kilometers.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
miles.
Yeah, we're miles. We covered it. And then that's when the real horror of this fairy tale is revealed, or one of them at least, and that's that the elves, and I think Puck has this realization like a little too late.
Yeah, a little too late, Puck. He realized it pretty early on and said nothing. And then turns out, yes, that's correct.
Because Puck stops him from killing more of them.
Yeah. He's like, wait, no.
But then the aftermath of the barn is once they're dead, they turn back to children. So there's just a pile of children's corpses
burnt up, and it just looks bad on his end. It just
a real Curb Your Enthusiasm.
And Guts slowly turns to camera like, uh-oh.
Not again.
Not again.
The Guts theme.
Yeah. Of course, the villagers walk in, right as there's a
all right,
pile
so how'd
of
you
child
do?
corpses. Yeah. We were just starting to warm up to you. You took care of everything. What the heck is that?
It's like, you saw them. They were elves, and then it's like, no, bro.
Yeah, those kids were trying to kill me. They're like, all right, they're kids.
Okay.
And that's also where Jill, because she is aware that they're kids now, has the realization that the leader of these elves, who, when they become more ferocious, turn into more bee-like kind of
I would
creature.
say wasp.
Wasp-like
Yeah.
creatures.
Yes, because bees are fine, but wasps serve no purpose.
Oh, this is a personal thing, or?
Yes.
Okay. Wasps. They turn into more wasp-like creatures, and there's obviously their leader, which does look a lot like the same elf that we might have seen earlier, but I don't know if the timelines match up on that.
Oh, right, because he deals with evil elves in the prologue, right?
Well, yeah, when he towards the end of the Golden Age arc, when it's not Judah, or it's not Rickert. I think where Rickert is in it's one of them when they're in the woods with the other hawks.
Yes.
And there's that elf that's just on the tree. It
Yes.
looks like the same elf.
It does look like the same elf.
Yeah, and so I wonder if it's the same elf, but I don't know where their location is at, and I don't know because there's that 2-year time skip. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I think it happened after that.
Well, because that girl had been missing for a long time, so it might line up, but
But like, why was she just hanging out with the big top monsters?
I mean, she was just in there with a
Demons.
bunch of, because there was also a lot of those like bug-looking things too, which we find out later are like guardians of the Misty Valley. But anyway, yes. So Jill finds out that this moth woman is her friend.
Wasp.
What?
Wasp.
a wasp, but she kind of looks like a moth, you know.
She's more
The other ones
mothy.
look like
a
wasp.
butterfly.
She's more mothy.
Yeah, how did you feel as someone who's afraid of like butterflies specifically? Did this like trigger you at all?
Kinda. But not as much as I thought it would. Just seeing regular ones. When they're like horrific like this,
So
it's
to be
kind
clear,
of
horrifying monster wasps and butterflies and moth-looking things, not a problem. But beautiful butterflies, terrifying.
not beautiful. They're
Okay.
not beautiful.
Well, she finds out that it's her friend, Rosine.
Rosine.
Yeah.
Rosine.
She finds out it's Rosine. And
Don't kill the children
Oh, yeah.
just because
Yeah.
you
And we just got
can.
copyright
I
right
would say,
there.
please don't take my son.
No,
Instead of my man,
Oh, yeah.
because children go missing.
Don't take children just because you can.
Oh, you wrote
Yeah,
the
okay.
lyrics
I wrote it
down.
down,
All right.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I planned it
You were
out.
planning on doing
Yeah, and then
this.
you try to like make it your own thing, but that was
Okay, well,
Cody
that's
did.
not what you said when you started.
Oh, I know,
You
but I
said it
forgot what I
was-
wrote, and I had to go back to my
Yeah,
notes, and now it's done.
Yeah.
I was straight off the
I was straight off the noggin too, but I just added a little mix to it.
Straight off the noggin would mean that you didn't have it written down.
It was straight off the noggin because I didn't say what I wrote down.
It was straight off the noggin because I didn't look at my notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rosine was a girl from this town that went missing a long time ago, was really good friends with Jill. They had a sibling relationship. Jill,
and she was in a similar situation.
a very similar situation, and she keeps calling Jill Peacalf, which is a legend and a fairy tale in their village that we find out more about later. But yeah, she was in a very similar situation. It was all bad. Guts tries to take her out and gets poisoned in the process, and Rosine gets away. Then the villagers confront them, and Guts is like, "Look, there's no getting out of this one."
He just takes her hostage.
Yeah, he's like, "Jill, come on over here," and basically, yeah, takes her hostage and holds a knife to her neck. Which at this point, Puck has to know, like, this is all, there's no other options. And not to, Jill, I think maybe Guts doesn't know this at the time, but Jill's probably pretty on board for it, too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's like, I'll go with you.
Like, she doesn't want Guts to get murdered by villagers.
No, and he's like, okay, I'm going to kill these people in the village. Puck's like, you don't have to do that. Let's not do that. And then he calls all of them out for their bullshit. He's like, you saw her out there? Did you come outside?
Yeah.
Did any of you
I
fucking
loved
come
that.
outside? And they're like,
I like how they.
no.
No.
They're like kicking rocks.
Yeah, it's funny the way he did it, too, like, because it was such a Guts way of doing it. He just starts laughing at first.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's so funny? And he goes, you guys are so funny. Like, it's just, it was just a really cool way to say it. And then he says what you said. And I just loved that about him, that he called them out for that, because it was true. And then you even see later, like, when Guts is like escorting Jill, or kidnapping, but out of the village, you even see her dad like looking around the corner and then getting scared and hiding.
Fucking hiding.
Yeah.
And she sees that and she's like, fuck, I guess I should get kidnapped.
Yeah. I think he tries to have his moment later, and that's why I don't know what's going to happen to him, but he might be the new Corcus. No, he's worse than Corcus.
He's
I
worse
hope
than
that guy
Corcus.
doesn't get a redemption story.
No, he's worse.
No, Corcus is actually pretty great now that I think now that he's gone.
Yeah, you don't really appreciate someone like that.
And that's the
until
theme of the story.
That's the theme of the story.
appreciating Corcus.
Mm-hmm.
That's this arc.
Yeah, don't take Corcus for granted. This is the Corcus arc. Yeah.
Corcus Conviction Arc.
The Corcus
Yes.
Conviction. So he I think at this point, Jill tells him this legend, this fairy tale of Peacalf, this child that was supposedly from their village, who was born looking a little different than everybody else. This is a very, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer situation.
That's so we can avoid copyright strikes.
Oh yeah,
Rudolph
dude, you
the
don't want
red-eared
Santa coming
reindeer.
after you, dude. Cole has a very strong legal team.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of elves, bless you, Cody. Uh-oh. Okay.
Imagine if you said go to hell every time someone sneezed instead of bless you. Hey, go to hell.
My favorite thing is I had a friend who would just say, "Can you not?" every time someone sneezed.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like you would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I know. I admired him for doing it.
But the legend is, he looked different. He had red eyes. He had pointy ears. He was convinced that his parents, who loved him very much, were not his parents. So he ran away to the woods to find his true family with the elves. The elves said, "You're not like us. You don't have wings like us. You're huge." Also, and they told him that there was a family that did come into the woods not too long ago, or a couple years ago, and their child was dying. They asked us if we could help, and so we gave some of our magic to this child. And in return, its form was altered slightly. So he feels really bad. He realizes that it was a real family, runs back to the village to apologize or just to be with his family again. And then but like mysteriously, 100 years has passed.
And yeah, that's one that a fairy tale in Japan has, because I don't think that's in European fairy tales, or I haven't heard of that. But like that's a thing that would happen where it's like, oh, he didn't listen about opening a box, and then he's like, all right, well, I guess I'll go back to my wife, and they're like, she died 1,000 years ago. I'm like, I don't know. That's like that's a thing they like doing, where it's not only are they gone now, it's you're in the future.
Yeah, it's interesting because is that technically sci-fi, because it's time travel? Or some of these old legends and fairy tales, because they deal with the time-space continuum?
Sci-fi doesn't mean
time
the
travel.
Future. It means
the future.
Technology.
It means the future, dude. What's synonymous with technology? The future. Checkmate.
I'll grant you got me a little bit on that point, but sci-fi means that it's done through technology. He was magically transported in the future.
And you got me a little bit on that.
And that's a fair joust.
And that is what we call a fair joust. So she's saying that Rosine, all throughout her life, really empathized with PCAF, or this legend, and considered herself to be the same.
What's the moral of the ending of that, though?
Let's think about that.
Because it's one thing to find out that, like, okay, no, like you should have like appreciated what you had and blah 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 blah. But then why mention, and also it's 100 years in the future? What does that add?
Well,
you're
even back, because don't forget that there's probably some moral about being bullied for being different in there too.
Exactly, but I think it's just like, people like being eternal, or like having eternal life. Like you can't die, so you just see everyone around you die, and now he is,
which is so
gone.
Dumb. It's so dumb, dude. People die anyway.
It's true.
This is back to the vampire.
There's no
thing.
consequence to being immortal that you don't have being mortal.
Yeah, if I'm not immortal, and guess what? People in my life have still died.
Yeah. No, it's very true.
Around you.
Yeah.
And you've seen them.
Well, not like literally.
Maybe died inside for your case.
Oh, like
often.
the crowds you perform in front of.
Yeah.
No, that was at your show that I was at.
I don't do shows.
It was a long time ago.
I think that appreciating what you have, and now that it's like not that they're gone, they're long gone, and you have to deal with that now.
I guess
is it like, now you're the parents, it would have been nice if you appreciated your parents when you were younger, but now that they're gone, now he's old enough to appreciate them, but they're gone, and that
because also he lives in this like in between place. He doesn't live in the
betwixt.
Okay, he lives between like the forest and the village. So I feel like there is a really clear moral here, and we're like scratching at the surface.
He's trying to fit into two worlds that he belongs to, but he doesn't fit in either.
I get that, but then why go to 100 years in the future? What does that add to the?
Because
to the
now he realized that it's too late now.
Well, because he can't have a happy ending. It's either that or he goes back and his family's dead. Like they've been murdered.
Yeah.
I guess they are dead.
I love how Guts pointed that out. He's just like, that's not a good ending. He's like, that's a sad ending. She's like, yeah, but she loved it.
Maybe it's about accepting both halves of who you are.
Yes, but like, why then in the future?
Cody,
well, because
we didn't write the story.
Because it teaches you not to take things for granted. Yeah, so you wouldn't learn that unless. Because, like, again, the only thing the only other thing that could have happened is, they could have been murdered by the time he got back. So they had to die. Look, they had to die.
The moral required them to die, but because this is a children's fairy tale, we can't have them be killed. So he's just in the future, and they're dead now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's a more interesting story.
It's interesting. I just don't look. We don't have to.
All right. But yes, Rosine has really felt as if she was a PCAF, and so she's always had a curious mind. She wanders the village and she collects things. One of those things that she collected was a rock egg-like looking thing with eyes and nose.
Don't
and
pick
mouth.
those up. Don't pick those up.
I got one. I don't know if you guys can see it right behind me, right here. And I got it off of a woman. I don't want to say just a regular old woman. I don't want to give her a descriptor like from the story because I don't know if you can say that word anymore.
I mean, you can't. I think we've been over this many times.
but
you can't say that word.
Right, and let's just never bring it up again. But nothing bad's happened to me yet.
I would argue.
Well, let's wait till the next eclipse, folks, and see.
Yeah, it's the eclipse that was when it happens.
Yeah.
Huh?
Fuck.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
could turn into a beautiful butterfly and fly away from this cruel, cruel world.
Sky's the limit. Yeah, she relates to Pika. She collects all these things. One of them was a behelit. She takes it and she leaves in the middle of the night, never to be seen again.
Yeah, that's is that when she like says goodbye to her and you see that her shirt's kind of ripped up and it's like another thing like
bruises.
Yeah.
And she would say that too, that she would see her constantly covered in bruises and scrapes and cuts and all these things. And a lot of them look like hand marks too, like not just she was getting beaten, but like she was getting like held down. Just horrible. Yeah. So it's at this point then that Guts pulls out a little behelit and he's like, is this the thing that she had? And then Puck gives it a cute little nickname called like a Betchy.
Yeah, he calls it a Betchy and he's like, oh, my personal body pillow. Because he literally sleeps in Guts' bag and holds it. Yeah. So funny.
He's like, oh, you mean my roommate?
Yeah.
Puck is hilarious, dude.
Puck's fucking funny.
Puck should do stand-up.
My body pillow, that shit took me out.
And it's at this time too that I think Rosine comes back to them now that they're sort of far away from the village and tries to kidnap Jill. No. I skipped over when Guts was by himself. Before Jill and Puck caught up to him.
Oh yes.
I almost skipped over a very, very important part because he's got his little campfire and who appears in the campfire?
Stop.
It's Guts Jr.
Guts Jr.
It's Guts Jr. appears in the flames.
Yeah, just a reminder. Now we know the context of that.
Which before we didn't, dude, and it was a moment of like, oh my God, that's your son. And he even like starts to have like a conversation with him, kind of, where he says like, because all of a sudden these children of flame emerge from the shadows.
God damn.
But the thing is, they look like kids. I mean, the only thing that makes them not look like normal human kids is that they're on fire.
Yeah, but they are dimensionally childlike, and they're like coming after Guts.
And they, and they're kind of cute too. Like they look like little kids. They don't look like. Yeah, but they don't look like. My point is, they don't look like these horrifying, twisted versions of kids. But I think that's purposeful.
Exactly. So he feels like shit.
That's one of those things that makes him not like exactly the tough guy antihero, which he then vomits, remembering that like those were kids.
Yeah.
Which
was
a nice
he
touch.
Vomiting from the poison or from from remembering they were kids?
I like to imagine he was vomiting from the kids. I forgot that he was also physically poisoned.
Yeah, because he was saying that it might take all night for this to get through my system. But he's like, that means, I'll sleep like a rock in the morning. And I think, but he was also really excited. Whether he was telling this to himself or he actually meant it, he was like, then that means I'm excited to be able to, I have something to do tonight, which is killing you guys. But yeah, he talks to his son right there in the fire and he's like, did you do this? Are you the ones who brought them to me? And he's just laying there in the fire, silent. I don't, we never heard him talk in the Black Swordsman arc, right? The baby? The baby, yeah.
No. It's just a thing that like follows him every now and then.
And he's just staring at him. He's just sitting in there staring at him. And Guts starts to slay these kids. And, it is kind of hard to watch because, like I said, they do look like children. And he's just mowing through them. And that's when Jill and Puck catch up to him and just see him murdering flaming children. And Jill doesn't really know. She's like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
And Puck's like, he's lost his mind. Because this is the Guts that we saw a lot in the Golden Age arc. A Guts that loves a fight and that loves battle, that thrives in battle.
He checks out.
Yeah, he checks out and he feels like, that's his purpose.
He enters a berserk stage.
I don't know when. No, he does.
What?
Gotta stop making that joke.
I don't know
if it's legitimately what happens. That's the term for it.
I don't know.
Whatever you say, dude.
If this is before or after, but there's a line that says it's all because Guts goes so nuts. I think like
Guts goes nuts. Yeah.
I was laughing my ass off. I think Puck said that. He's like, this all happens because Guts goes nuts. I'm like, you fucking comedic.
Yeah, Guts is a king. Guts is a short king.
Short king?
Small king. Small.
You mean Puck?
That's what I said.
Oh,
Puck.
I thought you said Guts.
Maybe I did, but I meant Puck.
I was like, huh?
You make me doubt myself. And Gus is just a king in general. But,
yeah, king.
So, Jill kind of throws herself in front of, one of the flaming children and Guts almost instinctually, because she's a kid too, strikes her, but then stops last minute. And then all these like flaming kids jump on his back and he falls down. And the only way to get them off is to like throw himself down this hill so he can stop, drop, and roll and get the fire out. And then that is when Rosine shows up again.
Rosine
shows up again, and then Guts, and I love Guts, and he even has a moment where he says like he basically killing Rosine to him is such a high priority that he for a second because Rosine grabs Jill and holds her really tight because they're friends, and she's sort of even like kind of shape-shifting and turning more human-like.
Yeah, she shows Jill like, oh, look, it's me again. And she's like, oh, shit, what's up, girl?
Yeah, so Jill doesn't feel kidnapped. She just feels like confused, like, it's you, Rosine. And I think because, Guts wants her dead more than anything, he takes a swing, and it's almost like he knew like there was a possibility he's like that he might get Jill too.
And that's what Puck says. He's like, you swung at her knowing that you might kill Jill. And he's like, what if I did?
It was that moment though for me too. Like I didn't feel the way Puck felt, but I was like, you weren't really gonna do that, were you?
I mean,
I was like, no, he had control over the sword enough to stop midway through.
He even says like he hesitates because he blames it on sleep. He's like, I'm not getting enough sleep. That's why I'm missing my shots.
Well, no, I think there's a line after where he specifically said he's questioning. He questions. He goes, did I purposely not do that? Like, did I hold back? Because he wants to not hold back. I mean, I get it, dude. These people ruined your life, and your everybody, all your friends' lives.
Yeah.
But come on, Jill's been pretty cool so far.
And I think there is an aspect of like, sure, you don't want to kill that kid, but if you let this monster get away, they are just going to kill more people.
Exactly.
So it is, by hesitating because you wanted to avoid one death, you could have just let 100 more people die.
Yeah, it was just a crazy moment because I even thought when I read it, like, oh, he had control. Like, they just, Puck and Jill and maybe Rosine thought that he was out of control, but he's got it. But then he even admits, like, I didn't, I was planning on taking him out.
Yeah.
Got to do what you got to do. But anyway, yeah, they fly off, and it's at this point when like Rosine and Jill have like a pretty nice conversation in the clouds in the sky, and Rosine is really convincing her, like, I'm happier than I've ever been.
And I wish can you just do your thing and not kill people? Like, can't you
Absolutely
just be an
not.
elf
if you
and just
want to
live
be happy? You gotta.
That's why I was like, oh, this would be such a cute story if she just was an elf and she's like, okay, you want to come with me because your life is shit? Why don't we just live together and we could be happy? And it's like, this would work if you didn't murder villages.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the deal. They take away some of your humanity. They take away.
Yeah, that's they aren't. That egg isn't like those aren't angels making deals.
Yeah,
it's not like a lamp with a genie in it.
It actually it's a genie's wish. Situation.
But like maybe if Jafar was the genie, but no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean a genie? You mean the Aladdin, the genie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not
there's
like
no other one.
Yeah.
No,
not
there's
just
no
how
other
genies are viewed and pop. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my point of reference for genies. All genies.
But Puck's pretty pissed off too at this point at Guts.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. And is that when they show like how the elves are when they're alone later.
Yeah. Later.
Yeah, but I don't know if this is before or after. Like, Puck is kind of going through like. He's like, I don't know what those guys were about. And it shows like Femto and the whole God hand. And I love how he drew these, like, I drew the little chibi of him. That. And it was so funny because he's like, I don't know, that has something to do with this, but we'll see. Those guys are bad news.
Yeah, maybe that's your logo for your, Band of the Cock emblem.
The Cock emblem. Discord, join my group. I don't have a lot
or
of
join
people.
Josh's Jokesters. As long as you don't join Cody Gang, it's fine.
I'm in favor of you joining Megan.
Because you have so many people.
Yeah, it's not Cody Gang, it's Cody Simps now.
Oh, I preferred the other name, but we don't. Doesn't matter.
Okay. But I loved that moment too. Yes, because like Puck is, has officially, finally, for the 10th time given up on Guts and is riding a raven or a crow or a bird and is just like on the bird, like complaining, thinking about everything that Guts has had to have gone through to be this way, like while plucking feathers, like, like kind of like, does he love me? Does he not moment where he's
And the bird's like,
yeah. And the bird is like looking up at her like pissed off the whole time. And then throws Puck off and Puck falls down into the Misty Valley. And that's when he sees the other elves playing with a ball.
Playing with the ball. So cute.
And he's like, yeah, time for me to get in on playtime. I knew these guys were like cool elves.
Yeah, he's like, I can't play with him.
Yeah.
And he joins in the fun.
Yeah, and then he finally he pulls his eyes back, which, okay, don't do that. And then he messes his hair up to look more like them, and then they pass him the ball, and then he looks down at the ball, and it's just an eyeball. Yeah, and then Rosine is over there talking to Jill, and she's kind of selling her on the whole thing. And I got to be honest, dude, if I was a kid, I'd be like, sign me.
Yeah,
up.
Hell yeah.
Jill isn't like, she's on board. Like,
she's pretty on board.
Yeah,
after that speech was like, yeah, like she got him.
Never
she
old.
has her sales pitch nailed down.
Yeah.
I don't even need to hear the pitch, dude. The moment we're in the sky, you could sign. Where do I sign?
She's like, why didn't you come to me sooner?
Yeah.
She's like, why'd you wait 2 years for me to be in that situation? And now you saved me. Cool. Thanks.
And Jill is a little conflicted, but she's definitely leaning towards, I'm about to do this.
Oh, I mean, her life. Why would you not?
And the thing is, like, if Rosine could have really reined in those elves for like another 20-30 minutes, like she could have had another.
Yeah, I know, you're the boss. Like, you're just letting them completely ruin the deal that you just made. Like, wouldn't you be pissed? But whatever.
Yeah, because she sees them all playing. She's like, oh, these are cute. They're having fun. There's no hunger. There's no cold. There's no nothing. And then she's like, oh, that's cute. They're getting all their like gear like they're playing war or something. She's like, wow, this is so fun. And then they start charging at one another and then murder each other,
brutally murdering each other with smiles on their faces.
And they're like, yeah, loving it.
They're
dancing,
loving it.
Yeah.
They're loving it.
parading everybody's bodies around,
Loving it. Tearing people apart.
I was waiting
eyes.
for a part on like, oh, and then they reassemble or something.
Me too.
Yeah.
But like, no, they're just dead now.
They like to kill.
They love to kill.
Cool.
And then she says like, Rosine's justification for that is that like humans do this. But the thing is like, we have fun. We're having fun. This is a game to us, but humans like do this to hurt each other, and they have a thirst for this. And if you go back to that village, who's to say that you won't be involved in a war
in a year?
Yeah. or you won't ever be cold or hungry, or people won't harm or hurt you.
Yeah, but you guys this is a cool place. Why would you have a war over nothing?
And then here's my impression of me in that situation. I'm listening. That's me. She started to get me a little bit. I'm like, you know what? Humans be doing some pretty evil stuff.
Yeah.
A counter argument would be like, not all humans.
That's
more
true.
humans, I think, are good than bad. I mean, I think people have good hearts. I'm just joking.
Then we
Oh
get
wow, you took you.
and
I
didn't want to
was
gloss.
gonna get a genuine.
People have good hearts, Cody. You got me.
I don't know how to. Megan.
This is a bad segue into what I'm about to say, but yeah, we get a glimpse of them doing war. Okay, cool. And then one of them just decides to
Oh my god.
Sexually assault the other one, and then
Oh, yeah.
and then Jill's like, okay, no, I'm out, full out, triggered, out. And I'm like, what?
And then they call it like adult attack.
Adult, yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding
Which
me?
does kind of lead me to believe that if it was happening to Jill and if it's happening to Rosine, and these are also kids, I'm assuming all from that village, or a lot of them are from that village,
or susceptible to go with Jill because I'll go with Rosine because they just want to be sold on.
Well, I think she's kidnapping them for sure, but I mean, like, as children of, I think as children of war, they're learning this stuff. Like, yeah, they are evil now. Part of their humanity is stripped away. But I mean, I'm assuming that this has happened to a lot of them.
It's like a tribe of like abused and traumatized children.
Yeah, like the Peter Pan kids. Whatever they're called.
Yeah,
Is
Lost
that what
Boys.
happens in Peter Pan?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're abused, but what are the kids called? The
Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of fucked up when you think about it. It's just they're just there and they had families and stuff.
Yeah, well, all boys are lost.
It is true, yeah.
And now we're not talking about the vampire movie.
No, great, cool. It's not a great movie, but it's a cool movie.
I love that movie. I like it.
I haven't seen it. I've been highly recommended it, but I haven't seen it.
It's fun.
It's
a
fun.
fun movie.
It's fun.
But and that was crazy.
That was literally insanity.
That
I was
was
like, are you kidding me? And that's when Joe was like hard out. I think at that point she was like, I really don't want to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
I don't want to be that guy, but
I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, meanwhile, while all this is kind of going down, Guts is fighting the Guardians of the Misty Valley, which are just, you know, the first group that he's fighting is the same guys that we saw at the beginning that
The
were
bandits.
the bandits that had attacked Jill next to that tree. Obviously, they're a little different now. They're more bug-like creatures. And Guts is pretty, you know, able to wipe them out pretty easily. But then, you know, through the mist, you see the silhouettes of like what looks to be at least 50 more of them. Pretty good at wiping those guys out too. You know, this is a guy who killed 100 men, and he's, you know, like you said, gone up against demons. But then you meet these other two guardians who were like apparently knights. So they're stronger. They've been given more power.
not the one that was like a praying mantis.
Yeah, the praying
and a beetle.
mantis and the dung beetle.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I figured you guys were knights. You guys fight better than these fucking guys.
Yeah, these guys were pretty intense.
Yeah,
but
they're getting him a little bit.
I will say though that like as much as I enjoy a good Guts fight, a good Guts slaughter, I you know, I do find myself kind of like getting through them. I get through them. I do like pay attention to the action, but I want to get back to that story.
Yeah, it felt like the fights were the side story to the fairy tale story.
Yeah.
happening.
The fairy tale story to me was just like way more interesting, and so because it was a couple chapters of the, I even as we talk about it, brush past it because you know not a lot happens. It's just fighting, which is fun and is important to a story. But I found myself like, all right, let's get back.
Yeah.
Let's get back.
It is funny that like, you know, you're getting this like gentle like exposition that's like slowly building up, and then you just cut to Gus. This whole time he's just like, all right, as soon as I'm done with this, then I'm gonna get over there.
Yeah. The coolest part of the fight though was at the end when he realized how or figured out how he could kill the two of them at the same time. Like he needed to, one is fast and one is strong, 2-on-1. He decides to basically like almost like hold his sword. Tell me if I read this right. Like hold his sword and then like use and so he's shooting one using the force from his cannon to like spin him around to so he's shooting one and then using the force to spin around and cut the other one.
And again, the motion in the fightings is phenomenal. Like I think he does a flip at one point and it's drawn out completely like base by base. It was awesome.
Yeah, because he has
awesome.
the Beatles like sort of whatever you
Pinchers.
Yeah, are like against his throat. Pincer. And he props his feet up against the
yeah.
It reads. And there was another specific moment where like you have to pay close attention to like where everything is at and like what position Guts has everybody in or they have him in, because it all tracks. Like the moves that he's pulling off, like, you know, you can see it being set up. If you're like they're paying Miura, you know, Legends Live Forever, but R.I.P. He he was very aware of like, you know, the physical form and it's just like, yeah,
spatial awareness, like
pay attention to those
totally
things,
yeah, it's not just cutting to him fighting. It's like, no, you see the whole fight pretty much play out play by play. Yeah.
And then after that huge fight, obviously Guts, you know, gets through him. Another thing I like about that too is while we're dealing with that, we're cutting back to the village where the Chain Knights are the Holy Chain Knights or the Holy Iron Chain Knights. add more names
of the Red Lake.
Well, they went to the Red Lake.
Yeah.
They're not of the Red Lake.
I know. It's true.
They
joke about their title gets longer.
Yeah, the title gets longer and longer.
I couldn't tell. Your delivery was, you know,
lacking.
It was solid.
This is why your group is the joke.
We live in a society.
We truly do.
Take it however you want. You know, are we jokers that live in a society, or do we like to make jokes? Who knows? It's up to you.
It's definitely
it's more the other one. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're also cutting back to these knights talking to the priest of the village. What I like about the fight that's simultaneously happening with Guts is that although Guts struggles, and at times, you know, we obviously know he makes it, but how is he going to make it?
He's bleeding everywhere. He's just all fucked up.
Yeah, what I like is that it doesn't cut to these knights coming to his rescue. Like Guts, for the most part, if he's in a fight, he has to finish a fight. There's never really anybody coming to save him.
No.
Which I feel like in other cases, there's always, it even happened a little bit in the Golden Age arc with Casca when she was like in a couple unfortunate situations. The Band of the Hawk showed up at the very last minute to save her. And I like that Guts has to see these things through. No one's coming to save him. No one's coming to help him. At least
he doesn't even expect it.
No.
He's like, okay, I'm starting this. I'm finishing it. I usually do.
But these guys are asking the priest, kind of what's going on, that they're on this sort of quest for miracles. And they're saying that because they're in the age of darkness, that all these monster sightings and all these things have been happening. And a lot of them are rumors. But the one thing that is common throughout the rumors that tend to be true are the tale of this like black swordsman,
which I love a good they think that he's one thing and he's not, and they're being told like, okay, this probably guy's a really bad guy, but he's just he's struggling to get away from these things and literally has to kill them.
Yeah, like this guy shows up in town and then monster attacks happen. So I like
he must be leading it.
Well, no, they don't even think that. They're like speculating on the many things he could be because he's a legend at this point too. So they're like, he could be that. But then they also say like, at one point, and I thought this was really cool. They're like, is he the human manifestation of humanity's fight against these demons? Like they think he's like that humanity has like all come together and like manifested this thing that is killing all of these demons. And I just thought that was interesting that he is sort of becoming a legend in his own right.
Yeah, I like how they don't just be like, oh, they go through multiple theories for what could be happening.
Yeah.
Which makes sense for like where they're supposed to figure. That's what they're there for, is to figure out what's happening.
Yeah. And we don't get like too much time with any of them either, which I like because I know we're going to see more of it. But yeah, so I mean, we're coming down to sort of the end of this first part of the video. But the last thing that really happens after Guts defeats the Guardians, after the Iron Chain Knights declare that they are going to set off to find the Black Swordsman, aka Guts, we're back in the Misty Valley and we see the cocoons, which is, obviously how, kids get turned into wasps. Demons.
Yeah, it's never a good thing when you see a lot of cocoons in anything that you read or watch. It ends very badly.
Yeah,
it's not a cute thing of, oh, people are being born. No, it's always bad.
I think a good rule of thumb is if you got to get in a cocoon to transform, then it's probably
probably bad.
Probably bad.
I did like that was like Jill's like, oh, I'm definitely not on board for this. Now that I can see the cocoon process.
Yeah. When she touched it, she's like, these are disgusting. I'm not getting in one of those.
Yeah, she was kind of like, oh, I mean, I guess that's a good point about war, and I guess we are. What are we but victims of society?
It's like, can't you just bippity boppity boop me?
Yeah,
just make me into a cute elf like you are? No, you have to go through the process.
Yeah, what do you want me to just magically turn you into an elf? That's
not how it
that's
works.
Ridiculous.
Well, I think
get in the cocoon.
I thought what it really was too. She saw that because I think it was Guts who shows up and kind of slices through one, and she saw like a half transformed one, and that's the
hard out.
That was the nail in the coffin.
That's the hard out.
That was also a good bug person noise you made there.
Like maybe like a good puck noise. Which, Megan, you do give me puck. You have puck energy.
I do have puck energy. Yeah, I think so.
You do. Yeah.
Yeah, look at you go.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Yeah. He's just laughing uncontrollably.
You both have body pillows?
Oh, very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
You both can't get enough of Guts.
I can never get enough of Guts.
You can both survive off a single piece of cheese.
Oh.
Great point. Yeah.
Great point. Great points you guys are making about the comparisons to me and Puck.
That's a compliment, I think.
A compliment and a half.
And I don't know how you're going to be insulted about just
I'm not insulted. I'm on top of the moon.
I don't believe that. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the end. Guts shows up, slicing and dicing the cocoons, and then volume 15 ends.
I did like a line he said where he was like, this isn't some kid's fairy tale. This is an adult's fairy tale.
Yeah.
I like that one that's like a movie trailer line. But also the logic, also the humor of like, that's a ridiculous thing. It's a mature one.
Yeah, Guts got quippy while he was over those course of that 2 years. He comes back. He's dropping one-liners left and right at the beginning. He's definitely
one-eyeliners.
One-eyeliners. Okay. It sounds like Guts is wearing eyeliner, but
He kind of looks like he is. He has long eyelashes.
He does.
he does.
He's
He's
very
just beautiful and
handsome. Yeah.
Natural beauty.
Natural beauty.
Gus doesn't need eyeliner. But yeah, I mean, like I said, everything that we said in the beginning of the episode, and we're going to talk a little bit too about the prototype chapter, which was Miura's chapter that he submitted, I think in like 88.
Yeah, 19 story submission piece by Kentaro Miura during college in 1988 became the basis of Berserk. This story is set after the conclusion of the Band of the Hawk story arc.
Yeah, well, no, it's not set after that. Because I don't know how
the conclusion.
No, how I read it was, and I'm assuming we maybe read it from the same thing, but the publisher Dark Horse, with the American publisher or the publisher that I read Berserk in, said that because the Band of the Hawk arc is finished, that they felt like it was now the right time to add this, but it does not take place like after the events of the Golden Age arc.
I liked
this is a different universe.
Yeah, so I like seeing this like alternate like start to the story, because I like reading like I feel like all the issues with this were addressed in like the actual like the revision one.
Yeah, I mean,
because he does come across as a, like, when I see people say like, oh, he's like a generic action hero tough guy, that's kind of what I see in this.
I agree.
I think people read this
by mistake. Reading the prototype was like watching a bad movie adaptation of Berserk. It really was. I mean, Miura's art is still flawless, and there still are so many kernels of what the story becomes, but it was as if like an actor was playing the part of Guts.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I would like if, like, as the story goes on, people start doing plays in theaters about him. Yeah, and then this is their act out,
and it felt way more goofy. Like, it felt way more goofy. It felt
like 90s action.
90s, yeah.
And Guts felt slimier, and he was like smarmy.
And he's like getting drunk, and it's like drunk Guts.
He would make these, but he would smirk, and he would make these faces like, you're an asshole. Like, the Guts that I've come to know and love is one that's stoic, and he's a quiet sufferer. His pain is all on the inside, but this guy was like kind of cocky and arrogant and like, walking around. And it's a pretty basic story. There are, like I said, a lot of beats that we see later on with like the apostles and everything like that. It does sort of feel like the way that the Black Swordsman arc starts, but like you said, the kinks got worked out a little bit.
Yeah, I really like seeing authors like first drafts. It's so like, I think that's like, if you want to write something, I think it's really cool to like see like, oh, this started at this level, and they went through and they rewrote it and they thought about it. And
yeah, I mean, it's part of the whole creative process. I think that it's important to put your failures out there. I mean, it's hard. It's hard no matter. I'm sure, at a certain point, it was even hard for Miura to put it out there, because we want to present our best selves to the world. But for people that are aspiring to be writers or manga artists, it helps, because we were just talking about it. Like, you have this like idea in your head that everybody gets it right the first time, that everybody's just out there crushing it, and it's not the case. You have to work hard and long, and you mess up a lot along the way.
There's an author called something Sanderson. I'm on Brandon, the third. Brandon Sanderson. He has a blog where he talks about every single chapter he wrote, and he gives his thoughts and feelings, and he'll mention like, oh yeah, I wrote this book 7 times before my editor was like, you got it. And it is interesting, because you read a book and you're like, oh, so like they just thought this and wrote it through, but he was just like, no, I hated this. I didn't know how to figure it out. I had to bring it into the second one when I finally was like, oh, that works.
It's like things have drafts.
Yeah.
Multiple drafts before it's released to the public at all.
Some of those first drafts are pretty bad.
Yeah.
And not to say that the prototype chapter was bad. I mean, it still like had a lot of that Berserk sort of that we've seen since, but I mean, it's not the same, not on the same level, which is like expected.
Yeah,
Puck's pretty much the same,
but I just thought it was a fun contrast to see like the first goings on of Guts and how he's just like this drunk guy giving people advice, and he's like, I could help you, but I really could care less.
Yeah.
But he's like happy about saying that. Like when you see the Guts now, it's just like he just doesn't say that. He's like, I'm just not gonna help you because I don't need to. Whereas he's telling people like, oh, I'm gonna help you out. just kidding. Like he's like
Well,
kind of
here
like
he's
more
like,
asshole.
psych.
Yes, he literally does a psych.
Well, he's like helping people out. Like the Guts that we know begrudgingly helps people out after he's told them over and over and over to leave him alone.
And don't be around me from the hours of this to this. And I go like, I bet that's because that's when he wants us to be around him.
I bet that's because something really cool happens around that time that he doesn't want us to see.
It's just like I give them exact time frames, and I'm just so done.
I'm literally a business at this point. My office hours are closed from this time to this time.
Because I'm literally working my ass off to survive.
But this Guts, this other version of Guts, he does things like in exchange for like favors or like food or like lodging or whatever. But again, he's just like, he's kind of scummy, I feel like.
A little greasy.
Yeah, he's just like kind of like, I don't know, man. I'm so glad that we ended up with the version of Guts that we ended up with. But yeah, if you haven't read the prototype chapter, it's very interesting, and it's a very it's awesome that it's included, and you can see that Miura allows you to see kind of where he started, because it is also at the same time inspiring. But that's pretty much going to do it for the first 2 volumes. We wanted to ease back into it. We're going to, like I said, in our next video, be covering 3 volumes and then 2 at the end, so we can address some of your comments. If you're watching and listening, comment. Let us know sort of your feelings on this specific arc. I have a little surprise for you guys at the end, too. Not a surprise, like a big surprise, but let us know how you feel about this arc and what's to come. We're going to get more into it as these videos go on, but I did, with a little bit of context that we have about this story, I have the Webster's definition of conviction. Oh. And
is this the surprise for us?
Yeah, it's a little surprise.
Oh, we love definitions.
I do.
Definitely.
I knew you did. And you tell me there's 2, Webster has 2 definitions, and one of them is a firmly held belief or opinion. This is called the conviction arc, right? So, I just really wanted to get the exact definition to see like how it applies. And a firmly held belief or opinion, that could apply to Guts, right? He's firmly against the God Hand for sure and the forces of evil. But this one was a little interesting, dude. A conviction as in the sense of like you've been convicted of a crime, right? So this one is a formal declaration that someone is guilty of a criminal offense made by the verdict of a jury or decision of a judge in a court of law.
Yes.
So I think, does that one apply more?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's being convicted.
Yes.
And it's his conviction on his conviction.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's like an arc of conviction. That's the arc is the conviction.
And that's what I think. I think what's the beauty of it is it's like a little bit of both. Yeah. And I just thought that declaration that someone is guilty of a criminal offense, it's like he is, even in here, he's being accused. I mean, he's always being accused, especially by the villagers, of being, somebody that he is not. He's being like wrongfully accused. So yeah, it's a conviction, like you said, of his conviction. Is that what you said?
I think I said it's his conviction of his conviction.
I think that's what I just said.
No, you said it was his conviction of his conviction. I meant the other one first, and then you meant the other. One.
That's where we're getting mixed signals, dude. Yeah, I misheard you, and I have to.
No, it's conviction of conviction.
You fucking idiot.
I'm dumb. I'm dumb. Is there any other do you guys want to wrap up? I know we're gonna give more of our thoughts in the later videos, but how did you guys feel about these 2 volumes? Just some final thoughts.
So amazing. It honestly it couldn't have been better. Taking a break and then going back to it. Like honestly, the humor is added so much for like Puck to me. Just seeing him in the Black Swordsman arc, and I've totally warmed up to him now, and I think that we're gonna see more of him in Guts' journey, which I love. I love these 2 characters, and the humor is just so it's so funny. It's so great, and it just adds so much to the story, and it's not all serious, and when it's serious it is, when it's not, it's not. And I love this story about this dark fairy tale. Like you see in the Golden Age arc, you were following, Griffith and the Band of the Hawk, and now it's just Guts on his journey and how he's just gonna do like the slice of life, like going on to another story. Like it really does feel like you're just following this character, and whatever happens to him, and you see the repercussions of that. And I'm super excited to see where he fits into the new Knights and how they're gonna deal with him. And it's just I want to keep reading it.
Well, you have.
Why did you sell me out like that?
It's like I don't know why you just refuse.
Because I didn't. I have to. Hold you accountable because you just on mic said I want to keep reading, And you have.
Yeah. It's one thing to do it, but then to lie. To create this illusion that you read the same book.
Because she's been called out before.
I misunderstood the assignment.
It was flat out numbers.
I know, but I think I maybe I knew and I got too excited.
You know what? With other series, Megan, I would maybe be a little more hard on you, but I think with this, I understand.
I'll hold you to the same standard as any other series.
Okay, thank you, Cody. I was always counting on you doing that.
All right.
You're not going to leave Cody hanging, are you?
Just like punch the shit out of his arm with my fucking rings.
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be so fucking funny.
Yeah, because you have done that. You have punched me with those rings.
Okay, let's not get into it.
Cody, how did you feel about these two volumes?
It really does feel like I'm starting to get into the groove of the story. I love the idea of like he's going to come into like a new like sort of like fairy tale or story, and like you see how he handles it and how this world is going. And I am still under the impression that where we saw him in the Black Swordsman arc is like, I don't think that's like where the ending is, but I do think that's going to be like a new middle point or the start of a whole new arc for him.
Yeah.
But it does feel like, oh, now I'm really in the story and I'm getting to see it happen. And I am still just waiting for to see a thing come in.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it.
What I'm really interested in is a lot of people, when talking about the arcs of Berserk, the Conviction arc is up there. It's up there in a lot of people's minds with the Golden Age arc. So I'm very curious to see where this story is going to go and how it's going to. It's off to a great start. I do agree with what you said, Cody. We are sort of. It does start to feel like we're in the story now. We're in it. You know,
it is crazy that we're at volume 15, and it does feel like those previous 13 volumes were prologue.
Yeah, but a very necessary prologue.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this is the story now, because all of that was setting up. Now you know who he is. Now you know the situation. You know where he'll get to. And now this is what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And so for it to be held in such high regard by so many people, I cannot wait to see what happens, because we've only got, a taste of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. So many names in that title. We've only gotten a taste of sort of, the Berserk's or Guts' interaction with Rosine. Like it's still too early to tell. But I am so excited to find out where this arc goes. So join us on the rest of our journey as we travel through the Conviction arc.
Fellow strugglers, we welcome you, whether you're a part of Josh's Jokesters,
Megan's Band of the Cock, or Cody's gang.
It's Cody Gang.
It's Cody Sims.
I'm going to change the name back. It's Cody Gang.
We love and appreciate all of you guys. We're probably going to be releasing our Conviction Age arc videos in succession, so they'll probably be back to back on Saturday. So stay tuned for that. I think that is going to do it for this part of our review. Leave us some comments on this video. What we really want to get better at doing.
If you missed anything.
Mm-hmm.
What we really want to get better at doing by the end in our part 3 videos of every arc that we cover is reading or having Volume 1-chan read some of your comments, corrections, interpretations, anything that we might have missed. There's so much to unpack, and we're not going to get everything. We're going to miss some things. So, and just even if it's just how something was meant, how you took it, or how
if there's context we mix, or it's like actually that was a reference to this story,
or something that we didn't touch on. That's one of your favorite moments in this the 2 volumes.
Yeah. So let us know, and in our part
you have
3
until
video,
the final video for us to, because after that one we cannot talk about those comments.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And let us know, and we'll definitely dedicate some time in the final part to address all of those. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys, as always, for watching and listening and coming to hang out with us. We really appreciate it. And we really appreciate and have to shout out our wonderful, beautiful, amazing, I try to say a new word every time, but our I've already said strong, resilient.
What are you talking about?
I always try to give them new descriptive words. Our Patreon members, thank you for your strugglers, but in a term of endearment. Yeah, like in a cool sense. We appreciate all of you. Thank each and every one of you for your support. It means the world to us, especially moving into this new studio. It's helped so much. We appreciate that anybody takes whatever they have to give to support us. It's mind blowing. It's heart touching.
Heartwarming.
Heartwarming. Yeah.
Warms
But it
the
also,
heart.
it also touches my heart too.
Oh yeah, gut warming.
And you don't have to just pay to support. What you could also do is just leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And that's a free way to support that we can all get behind.
Absolutely. No matter how you can show your support, even if you're a part of the algorithm gang, we love and appreciate all of you guys. But if at any point you would like to become a Patreon member, you can by going to patreon.com/volume1pod. Also, if you're still here, by the time this video comes out, we in one of our previous episodes mentioned a live show that we're going to be doing around our 100th episode. We got to figure it out because there's some stuff at a convention, an anime and manga convention in our area that's going to be maybe possibly conflicting with doing it as our like 100th episode. So we might figure out a way around it, or we might have to do it at 101. But either way, it'll
be tons of fun.
It's going to be tons of fun, and we'll keep you updated, and we're still doing it, and it's still going to be Monster Musume, and it's still going to be a blast, and you're still going to want to be there. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that is always the same and never changes, which I feel as if Megan already has.
It's all because Guts goes so nuts.
Yeah.
It's all because of that.
I feel like Guts goes nuts. I like that.
Guts goes nuts.
But I mean, maybe we can until next time,
We're nuts for Guts.
We're nuts for Guts.
Absolutely. And that is the Volume 1
That's
punch up.
That's the Volume 1 punch up.
Wow, dude. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time, remember,
we're nuts for Guts.
And the Scorpion. I don't know why